Erev Tov Chavrim, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live, and it is got a message just a few moments ago from Vanessa Beeley in Damascus. She had tweeted out that she was awoken by bombs being dropped west of Damascus, woke her up out of bed there. Right now, it is a little after midnight local time in Damascus, and Israel is targeting, from what they're saying right now, early reports, Israel is targeting targets west of Damascus. Some are saying they're targeting Iranian bases and facilities in that region, but it is still unknown for sure exactly what's happening. This is all in the last 10 minutes or so. I noticed in one particular tweet that went out there saying that Israel was intercepting things coming into Israel. But we have the early warning system here. Israel has had no warnings whatsoever go off of any type of incoming missiles or anything of that nature there. So whether or not they claim a drone or something like that, but nonetheless, Israel is the one that is targeting west of Damascus. And I can believe that it would be what is considered to be Iranian targets there, and something that I had already planned on talking to our Jewish friends around the world about anyway tonight, but I just was not anticipating Israel to be doing yet again another military strike inside of Syria so quickly here. With some of the things that I wanted to share with our Jewish friends, and let me say this as gently as I possibly can. If you are Jewish, and we do have a lot of Jewish people that watch this broadcast, they're not Christians, they are Jewish people, as well as we have a lot of Arabic people that watch this channel as well. If you're Jewish and you are looking at doing Aliyah, I strongly ask you to reconsider at this time. And the reason I'm asking you this is because we know of intel that Israel is one of the things that Israel is to do is to cause a provocation that will cause Iran to strike Israel. It's very bad. It's a very bad situation. You have to understand there's a lot more going on than what you realize. And I finally decided that at the conference this coming Saturday, I'll be speaking there. When I talk about going into the beast kingdom that is coming, this has a lot to do with what some people call Nibiru, things like that. Nibiru is not nearly as much of an issue as what we're really about to face on this earth. And what you're not aware of is that all the things that are happening, the depopulation, things like that, is strategically being done in order to lower the numbers on the population so that a certain race of people will have control on this earth. And that doesn't mean that the Jewish people want to have control, but there are a group of elitists that masquerade as Jews that are wanting to have control when we go through something that is going to be tremendous here on this earth. Now, when that's going to happen, I don't know. I had a Pentagon source that shared with me details. I have spoken about it from time to time here on Israeli News Live, but bringing together the different sources that I have, I know that Israel was supposed to take and get a strike on Iran to cause Iran to retaliate in order to get a limited nuclear war going around the world. It would cause global chaos, things like that. And but there's a lot more, and I really do want to share these things in depth. Now, those of you that will not be able to make the conference, I will end up airing this on Patreon. But if you want to know about it at the time, this coming Saturday, I will be speaking more in depth from the intel perspective, things that I'm aware of what's going on. But this is why I am at this point now, I really strongly encourage you, if you are Jewish, if you've been looking at making Aliyah, or if you're a Christian, you've been planning to go live in Israel, this is not the time to do it. And I know that there's some people would say, well, Steve, well, it's, the Jewish people should be in their homeland. If you understood what's really going on, if you understood that the Rothschilds, the whole Balfour Declaration, it was basically Lord Balfour giving land to Lord Rothschild to create the state of Israel. All right? And as a result, there is a pre-planned agenda. When they talk about the New World Order is something that comes out of all the chaos that is finally completed. Even the Noahide laws, they're going to use that when they go to genocide this nation. I mean, I've shared with you Israeli intelligence telling me what's going to happen here in America. And I've always been told that Iran is the key. That if you want to know what's going to happen to the United States, you've got to watch Iran, because Iran will be provoked. And by the way, I don't know how many of you have been listening here to Israeli News Live for several years, but if you remember back, I shared with you years ago that Iran has nuclear weapons. A good friend of mine interviewed the scientists from Iran that said Iran had like 4 atomic bombs. So all this dog and pony show about, oh, we can't let Iran get nuclear weapons. Iran's had a nuclear bomb. They just haven't used it. But what you're not aware of is the fact that they're going to allow the Jewish people to become sacrifices to justify a limited nuclear war on a global scale to reduce population, and then to create martial law, especially in the West, to bring you to your knees. And then when we begin to look at the biblical side of things, and you know things that are going on in the world, then you'll begin to understand just exactly what it means by a beast kingdom, or as the book of Revelation talks about, the beast that arises out of the bottomless pit. He had a wound on his head, but his deadly wound is healed. Yeshua caused that wound in exposing the Pharisees 2,000 years ago. But it doesn't matter how much I try to tell people about this. Everybody is oblivious to the truth, and their heads are like the ostrich stuck in the sand, hoping nobody sees the ostrich's big giant behind sticking up in the air. I don't know if there's really anywhere safe on this earth. The only place I know that's safe is in Christ. But the thing is, I've shared a lot with you over time. This time, though, I'm going to try to put it in one package and look at it from a biblical perspective. And this whole thing about this coronavirus, it was something that was pre-planned several decades ago. And they intended to target the Chinese. It was to target them. It was created and designed as like a flu-like virus that would target their DNA of any of the Oriental people. So if you have Oriental bloodline, you're the ones that are more susceptible of getting this and dying. And I hate to say it, I really do, because we have a lot of Chinese brothers and sisters watching this broadcast as well, and we love you too. But I was told by a dear friend in Israel that when all this takes place, Iran, when you see the attack on Iran, or when Iran retaliates on Israel, that would be the beginning. In fact, if you don't make your move then to go to a place of safety, you're here in the United States, you could be right in the middle of one of those zones where they're going to drop a bomb. I think that some of you may know by now if you really pay attention to some of the information I release to you, you know, I got people all the time when I do news and I release things that are happening in the Middle East. They're like, it's nowhere fake news. You're just saying it to get views and stuff like that. 2 or 3 days later, you find out in your mainstream media, how many people have to insert foot and mouth? You know, we're nobody. We're nobody at all. And why God has allowed us to have the connections we have and things like that over the years, I don't know. But I think the most important thing right now is that we take inventory of our souls. And I know a lot of people have sold out. A lot of people have sold out. In political circles as well. And this is not here. I'm not here to beat up on President Trump. I'm not here to, you know, listen, people have their love for what they believe is right. They believe that it's going to turn this all around. It's not going to happen. There's a preservation going on. There are very well-known ministers that have also sold out their flocks. You remember the clergy response plan that they had out there? Yeah. They do that so that they can protect their own lives. They're willing to bring out propaganda to protect their own lives. But I'm always reminded how the scripture says, they will say, let the rocks and mountains fall upon us and hide us from the face of him that is to come. You know, I shared with you my one source that I had from the Pentagon that told me, because I asked him specifically about Nibiru. I'd gotten the information from this one scientist in 2023. There was a possibility that this, and he didn't call it Nibiru, the scientist that shared it with me, he called it by its actual name. He said it was supposed to pass through. So I asked the source that I had in the Pentagon, because I knew he had a much better connections to know. And he told me then, he said, he's heard about this as well. He said, but that's not the issue the Earth is facing. What the Earth is facing is an asteroid belt that's got so much debris in it that they do not know how anyone could survive it. He said there will be survivors, of course. But the governments, including our government, has been making underground bunkers to hide people. Most of all, even in Israel. More bunkers have been built there practically than anywhere. Because it's an elitist program. But what I am really troubled by right now is that I know the elitists that run the nation of Israel could care less about the Jewish people. They could care less about you as a Christian. And they're going to allow Iran to get provoked to such a point that they will drop. I think they have either 3 or 4 atomic bombs. And now that Iran can send it with a plasma head on their bombs where they can't be shot down by Israel. And also I know that they have a technology that their rockets can send these weapons faster than even possible for the Patriot system to knock it down, or the THAAD system. Israel and the United States know full well about this, but they're willing to sacrifice. And I don't say Trump knows this. I don't know. I don't know who all knows that. This is part of a deep state agenda. Not just deep state, we're talking about, maybe we should call that elite state agenda. This is why they want to lower the numbers on this earth, so that when they bring this all down to a head, they figure they can survive what the earth is about to go through. And if they can survive it, they'll have their new world order then. But before they do, when they start sending you to the FEMA camps here in America, this is where those Noahide courts will be checked out at. Isn't it interesting that right there in the Israeli newspaper, when the high priest of Israel is quoted directly in there that the Gentiles that are living in Israel should leave. But if they don't leave, they will have to keep the Noahide laws. And if not, they will be sent to Saudi Arabia. You know, there's multiple recordings of rabbis, prominent rabbis, saying Sharia law and Noahide law are synonymous and one and the same, including imams agreeing that the same as well. There's no difference. They agree the exact same things. And both their laws call for the beheading of the population. And then you wonder why we have guillotines in America. They don't need to use it until it becomes a situation in this nation to where it's mayhem and rioting and people starving. They declare martial law. But I can tell you one thing. If you're Jewish and you go to Israel, and I don't know for sure which city will be targeted or if it's more than one. I know the believers have told me believers that live there in Israel, they know good and well. In fact, who was that? It's the one brother, he's a very well-known believer over there that witnesses to Christian, or to Jews to win them to Christ, has said that the persecution against the believers is on an all-time record high right now. But many of them have written me and told me that they know that as soon as Israel is struck by Iran and this war comes, this is when the Orthodox community is going to change everything and they're going to force them under these Noahide laws. You know, it's not a good thing, friends. Anyway, let's up-check, see what we have on the latest here. There we go, right there, we can see. All right, now we're actually getting video footage of what's happening there in Damascus. The sound comes afterwards. I don't know if that was interception of a missile or what, but it was something in the air there. Let's see, explosions over Damascus. That's on the live view map coming out 57 seconds ago. God bless you, Far Out Watchtower 2020 for sharing our video there as well, the live broadcast here. Huge explosions in Damascus. They're showing here now photographs of it. So this way you guys are able to see. Now, these could be older photographs here. I don't know. So I don't want to say that that's actually the actual thing. I know that the video, though, it looks like that video is actually true. You know, I'm not really sure either. Let me just look to double check. There was one other thing I wanted to double check on, and that is, all right, Vanessa Beeley is now reporting 18 seconds ago, Israeli strikes targeting Brigade 75 in the vicinity of the village of Al-Makkabiyah, west of Damascus, and Miza Military Airport, and the center of the scientific research in Jamaria. Those are the targeted places there. If you don't know Vanessa Beeley, she also has a Patreon channel. She is an excellent journalist, and she does cover a lot of things that are going on in the Middle East there, and very, very truthful woman indeed. So at any rate there, one other thing I wanted to see here was, were chemical weapons used recently in Syria? Because I knew that the Russians were saying that they anticipated something like that to happen. Well, it's nice. The White Helmets have already made a fake chemical attack video. It's already been completed before they even get the... they've already produced the footage and they haven't even done the attack. Lovely. So a lot of things are fabricated just to get the people to believe it and to get sympathy for, you know, the United States using more force over in this region of the world, and to put our soldiers here, American soldiers, in harm's way for something that we say is for democracy when it's really not. Anyway, listen, if you want to be here at the conference, as far as I know, there's still tickets available. I have not actually looked today to see, but I know that we had quite a few still left the other day. Go to IsraeliNewsLive.org. Click on where you'll see John Moore's picture with myself and my wife, December 3rd, 2019. Click on that link right there. And February the 8th, 2020, which is this coming Saturday, it's an Orlando conference at the All the details are here. The times that we'll speak, etc., as everything is here. The only difference is Jana will be speaking at the 1 p.m. and I will be speaking at the 3 p.m. or 3:30, right there, give or take a little bit of time there. John Moore speaks in the morning at 10 a.m., but it's Embassy Suites Hilton Orlando North. It's the same hotel we have been holding the conference there for the last 3 years. And if you are wanting to get tickets and you are listening, this is for people that have financial difficulties. You're wanting to come, but you don't have the ability to it's too costly for you to purchase the tickets. We did have one brother who has sponsored quite a few people actually. So if you put in the comments, it has to be in the comments. Please don't email me, because I've got over 20,000 emails unanswered. I might see your email. I may never see your email for the next year. So put it in the comments. I'll do an approval on the comments to find out, and I can let you know. I'll respond to you in the comments that yes, you'll be able to come, because we had a block of tickets that were purchased by a brother in California there to be able to help those that would like to come that don't have the means to come. So other than that, if you have the means, please save that for people that don't. But if you don't and you wanted to come, especially for those that live locally, you wanted to come, but it's kind of tight on you, I understand. We always try to make that available ourselves as well. In fact, we've already sponsored a couple of people ourselves that we give free tickets to so that they could come. But just let us know, and that'll be reserved for you as well. So until we last on those. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live. God bless you, and thank you for watching.